Good evening, everyone. This is Ray Hayes with Global Diversity News. Thanks for taking a listen tonight to our podcast. And I hope everybody's weekend is going well. Today, I want to talk about Donald Trump's recent tweet about the city of Chicago and speaking about Mayor Rahm Emanuel, and also just different talk show hosts talking about the violence going on in the city of Chicago as well. So first, I'm not sure if you all may have seen it or heard about the recent tweet President-elect Donald Trump sent out. He went about talking about. He said that if Chicago's Mayor Rahm Emanuel didn't fix the violence that is taking place in the city of Chicago, the feds would come in. And that right there, when I saw that tweet, kind of blew my mind, because the fact that you're willing to bring the feds into a situation that you know nothing about or possibly have done any research about. So the fact that it was careless of him to send out that tweet, it just blew my mind, and I thought it needed to be discussed. Like I said, President-elect Donald Trump, I'm sure he hasn't been on the city's south side on a daily basis, or he probably doesn't even know what's going on. So for him to make that comment is kind of irresponsible. Like I said, it's not only Donald Trump that's making these comments. Certain radio hosts are saying the same thing. On Thursday, I was listening to a broadcast on Sirius XM Urban View, and the talk show host, which I listen to her show daily, Karen Hunter, went on to say that the city of Chicago isn't making violence on the south side a number one priority, and Mayor Emanuel is not doing a good job, and the Chicago Police Department is not doing a good job, and also she said that the prosecutors in the city of Chicago are not doing a good job. Now you can listen to the show on demand if you do have Sirius XM, the Sirius XM app. You can catch and hear her comments. But I thought that was not only with Donald Trump, it was irresponsible making the comment as well too. Before Rahm Emanuel was elected mayor of the city of Chicago, there was violence in the city of Chicago. In the 80s and 70s, there were more violence than it is today. Back then, it was the drug wars. Now, we don't know what it is. And for her to make that statement, I mean, she doesn't know what it is. It's not the fact that they're not doing their job. I'm not trying to make an excuse for them. I'm not trying to said that they're doing a perfect job referencing Rahm Emanuel, the Chicago Police Department, but they are doing something. Mayor Rahm Emanuel's son was robbed out near his home on the north side. So violence is at his front door as well. I mean, we can't just rely on them to end the violence in on the city's south side. It's more to it than that. We can't just, the police, let me say this, the police department are patrolling in the summertime. You have police officers walking around the city south side in the roughest neighborhoods. So they're trying, but it's more to it than just them. We have to look at the individuals who are committing these crimes. And the thing is, once we look into why they're committing them, or some of the excuses of what's going on and why is it gang wars? Is it drug wars? Like, what is it? Thing is, we have to talk to these people first. We can't just blame city officials. They can only do so much. I mean, we only can ask them to set laws or set procedures for change gun laws. Yeah, they can do that. But it's the people who are committing the crimes. I mean, like I said, they always can do more, but it's not their fault. It's not their full fault. And like I said, I thought it was irresponsible for both Donald Trump and Mrs. Hunter to make those statements. Once we go about, for instance, let me say this. I work for the city of Chicago. And I'm in the neighborhoods on the south side daily. And I'm in some of the nicest neighborhoods, and I'm in some of the roughest neighborhoods. And what you see are young men and women who are of school age or in their early to mid 20s just walking around during the daytime. I mean, walking around randomly. They do not have anywhere to go. They don't have a job. So when boredom strikes, people figure out other ideas to get themselves in trouble. So even if there's police officers on every corner, or even if there are police lights on every corner, they're not going to see everything all the time. People are struggling to find jobs, or the people have jobs who are not. They're not getting. They can't afford rent or afford food, so they resort to violence. So, and people are overlooking that. I mean, if you, like Donald Trump said, he's going to bring jobs back. Bring them back. Please bring them back. Give these people something to do. And I mean, give them an opportunity to make a decent living, to go about feeding a family, being able to pay for rent in the city of Chicago. Because if that was the case, you wouldn't see so many people on the streets, and you wouldn't see so many killings. Now, I'm not saying that's the only thing that needs to be done. There's more that needs to be fixed within the city. However, stop blaming the figureheads. We have to look into what's going on with the people who are committing these crimes. What's going on in these neighborhoods? How can we fix these neighborhoods? And my mother, she made a point today as well too. I asked her the same question: what needs to be done? And she stated that men need to be men. The fact that when she was growing up, the men in the neighborhood controlled their city blocks. If they saw something that they weren't pleased with, they spoke up about it. So, with that being said, I agree with my mother. Men and women, though, need to step up and make their voices heard. We can't sit back and say, oh, I'm tired of the killing, I'm tired of this, I'm tired of that. And sure enough, there are thousands of groups throughout the city who are stepping up and making a difference. But just a random person in the neighborhood has to be willing to step up and say, we can no longer tolerate this. Our kids shouldn't have to go out in fear and walk outside in fear because they're afraid they may get shot. That shouldn't happen. It's sad. So with that being said, like I said, please stop blaming the mayor, the police department, and the prosecutors. It's not totally their fault. Yes, they have blame, but it's not totally their fault. Stop being naive. There's more to it than that. And I know, I know people understand that, but they're just unwilling to admit it sometimes. I'm going to end the podcast at that. Thank you all for listening to the podcast tonight. If you want to learn more about Global Diversity News, please visit our website, www.globaldiversitynews.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at GDN Network. and also like our Facebook page, Global Diversity News. Once again, this is Ray Hayes. Thank you. Have a good evening.